Welcome back to the download. I'm Sara Connell, your host, and we are going to have a fantastic conversation today about the future of wellness, about longevity, about taking care of our physical bodies and our brains for peak performance. And I'm really, really excited that we are going to be able to dive into the world of downloads, but from the perspective of our health, our wellness, our longevity, and really the future. What I'm obsessed with here, what the download book is about, right? It's about the expansion of our human potential, our human intelligence, our creative intelligence, our divine intelligence, not just a conversation about all the artificial intelligence. There's many other places that we can go to have the conversations about what's happening in AI. And so what we're all about here at the download is how we are expanding and developing the HI, the CI, the DI, the parts of us that are uniquely human, our genius, our capability beyond what we think is possible. And it's really exciting to be doing this work with all of you. And I'm just absolutely thrilled. Now, we may have a special guest joining me. Regan Archibald from Ageless Future is going to be with us on our download book tour that's coming up this fall. I cannot believe it's like a little over a month away. We're going to be actually on tour in 6 different US cities, and we'll be doing so many incredible things for this upcoming book tour. So I'm going to tell you a little bit more about what's coming up, and then if Regan is joining us today, if he's not, we'll have him on soon. But I really want you to hear. I really want you to hear about what's happening in the world of longevity and health and peak performance, and especially because what Ageless Future, which is Reagan's organization, what they're committed to is helping incredible leaders build the bodies and the wellness and the energy and the longevity for being able to lead with greatness and courage and conviction and all the things that are important to us. And as many of you know, and those of you that are on live with us can tell me if you've experienced situations where your like your body is the last thing you're taking care of because you're triaging with um, getting the to-do list done, finishing the book, launching the product, following up with whatever, getting on the next platform. Like so often, and so many entrepreneurs have had a story around their health deteriorating because they weren't able to take care of themselves. And actually, this happens in other professions too, because I coach, in addition to a lot of, visionaries and thought leaders, I coach a lot of doctors, lawyers, C-suite executives, and people who are often transitioning from those roles into building their thought leader work and their legacies through books and speaking, right? That's the people coming to me. And I hear about the toll that it's taken and the early mortality rates of professions like the medical doctors, right? And my sister is a medical doctor. And so this is really dear to my heart. So whether you're in a corporate job, whether you're in a profession where you have incredible high stress, whether you're an entrepreneur like me, and that's a whole nother. I see Kelly Roach is here, and one of my amazing mentors and friends and beloved colleagues. And Kelly, I think it was you that said, entrepreneurship is a blood sport, and everyone gets injured, and it's so true. And in fact, since we're talking about health and wellness and downloads today, and how we can download miracles for our health and vitality, we're going to do, if Reagan's not able to join us, I'm actually going to take us through an exercise from the download book that we'll be able to do to download a higher state of health. So if you're facing a health crisis, a health challenge, this will help you. And if you are feeling good and you want to make sure you keep feeling good, then this will be a great way to expand that well-being. And so what I want to talk a little bit about, though, before we get into an actual exercise, is I want to talk about the um, the I don't know if I want to call it I guess we'll call it a link, okay? The connection between, there was a statistic came out, it was repeated again this week, that said people who were athletes in their youth have a higher success rate, whether they're in corporate entrepreneurship, whatever their chosen professional field. And that's not surprising to a lot of us. And I think whether you were an athlete or an elite, you did something else, like in music or in art or in civic organizational work, or like you basically, it's like if you did something hard when you were younger, you're going to be able to deal better with doing hard things when you're older. I mean, that's the kind of common thread here. And again, I was referencing Kelly because I saw Kelly was on with us, and the idea of being someone who can understand how to push beyond the threshold of what you think is possible, and how to be, the word resilience gets so overused that we kind of get desensitized to it. But it's true. It's like, can you face like really hard physical, mental challenge and still do the thing? And still show up, or you get knocked down, or you fall out of the boat. I was a rower. Okay. So, I went to this scrappy public school outside of Washington, D.C. with like thousands of kids. And we would race all the prep schools and all the really, like all the boarding schools and everything. And we were fierce, right? We won every national we had two straight seasons, my junior and senior year, of all gold medals, regionals, state, nationals, internationals. We won gold medals on all of it. And it was because we had a coach that taught us the game of the mind, right? And downloading is something that we do to tap into the genius of our own mind, the potential that we don't think we have. That is what, rowing, sport gave to me. Many of you were athletes, or you were elite, musicians or something else. I'd love to hear those of you that are on live. Like, was there a sport that you did that really created grit and stamina and the ability to face challenges and break boundaries in what you think is possible? Or was there another type of craft that you dedicated yourself to? Because writing, for me, especially at the beginning, when writing my first book and facing all of what that felt like, that was as hard as any, crew race that I ever rode, for sure. And it also was, it was definitely harder than any rowing race. And extremely, extremely challenging because of the mental game. It all comes down to, so like 90 some percent is happening in our minds, right? It's, what is the story we're telling? What do we think is possible? What skill and ability are we accessing? And we've seen this, right? We've heard the stories. I wrote about many different miracles in the book, The Download. And the common denominator is someone refusing to let the limitations that seem to be in front of them actually limit them. Like, that's a common denominator in miracles. I actually go into the science of miracles in the Download book. And one of them is you get yourself into a state of mind, if you're an energy person, a frequency that you just don't play by the normal rules. And that's what happened to us in rowing. We had a coach who was able to, I've told this story so many times, but he was able to find the place where everyone else kind of stops rowing hard, because there's a point when the body goes from, anaerobic to aerobic, and you feel like you can't breathe and your muscles are burning and you feel like you're dying. And everyone in the boat, naturally, for survival, lightens up. You just stop rowing as hard for a little bit. You give yourself a minute to adjust, and then you start digging deep and you get into a groove. And so what our coach had us do, and again, those of you that, know me, I've told this story so many times because it's, decades later, I think of it all the time. He said, okay, well, what you're going to do is, all of you in this 8-person boat, you are going to dig harder and deeper and faster at the moment when everyone else gives up. And he called it a power 20 strokes in the boat. Right. And I think of that all the time, when at the moment when I feel the weakest, when I feel the most unable to persevere, to figure out the solution, to go forward, whatever the knockdown was, I think about, no, this is the time you actually dig even deeper. And it's not a denial of taking care of yourself. It's saying, I know this isn't actually going to end me. I am not going to actually die. I'm not going to stop breathing. I have in me more than I think is possible. And I love that, Athena, you're talking about dancing taught you discipline, endurance, and perseverance, right? So whatever it was, I know that I apply those things where I had to break through what I thought I could endure, what was possible, what I thought I was capable of, and I had to break through, to the other side of that, right? And that's what those, that sports, and what then becoming a writer, anything that basically kicks your ass, right, is actually really good for us, because then we find out that we're a lot more powerful than we think we are, right? And so if something's up for you right now, right, this is what downloading lets me do is it actually lets me tap in to my expanded potential, the parts of me I didn't think I had, where I didn't think I had any more to give. And my friend's father, my best friend growing up, still my best friend, her father was a Navy SEAL and then in naval intelligence. And so the SEALs, if you ever read about, special forces, the training and the lifestyle of being in a special forces unit in the military is brutal, and they do a training called BUDS, which I think something like 90% of people fail because it's so, so hard. But all the SEALs I've met and talked to, and you can read a lot of SEALs have written books after they come out of that program, and they all basically say it wasn't the physical that made people quit, it was the mental. That's what's happening here, right? And so if we can conquer this, if we can take the lead here and we can create a narrative of, I can do it, I can persevere, I can actually do, I love Eleanor Roosevelt, we must do the thing we think we cannot do. We must do the thing we think we cannot do. So I want to know if that's up for anybody today. If you're watching this later, leave me a comment, direct message me. Those of you here, is there a thing going on right now that you're you're faced with something where you have to do the thing you think you cannot do? And let's let this conversation today be a catalyst and like wind under your sail to just absolutely do it. And you can. If it's in front of you, you can persevere. You can triumph. You can do it, right? And the hill feels too big to climb. Totally. It feels so big. Yeah, you weren't even saying too big. Sometimes I just think I can't, right? I got faced with something over the last, I guess it's 4 days now. I was going to say 72 hours that felt unbelievable. It felt like it was going to undo multiple years of work, so much that I've poured incredible amounts of money, over 6 figures of money, time, all these things. And it's like, no, this is actually going to get me to my next level. It's not going to keep me from the next level. So I want to offer that mindset. That is a download technique. Okay. So I want everyone, I'm just, saying until our little books actually arrive, next couple weeks, right? This is what we're doing in downloads. This is about unlocking genius, training our brains, creating miracles. And the way we start with that is we change the narrative and we say, not only is this not going to take me down, this is going to be the thing that actually propels me further and faster to the summit of that mountain. Right? And we're not doing it in a bro way, like, I'm going to summit the mountain, be better than other people. It's like, I'm going to summit the mountain of my own human potential, my own divine calling. Right? So obviously this is, we're on Substack. You're not going to want to put something in the chat. Those of you who are live likely to say what it is that you're, what exactly you might be facing. Oh, Deb. Oh, so good to see you, Deb. Yeah. And so if you are facing a mountain that feels too big to climb, if you are faced with something where you're being called to do the thing you think you cannot do, today and this brain training that we're doing here at the download is going to help you do it. It's going to help you do it and not only like survive, but you are going to absolutely triumph. And it will be a triumph of your spirit. It will be a triumph of your human potential. I believe, can get to the point that we will be grateful for that mountain. And it always feels like such a platitude, right? Like, yeah, la la, but honestly, like that's actually a brain training technique. So I want us to do that together now, right? I want us to feature pace and imagine a moment when you're being interviewed on a podcast. Let's say you're coming here on my Substack and you come up on screen and you say, I'm like, hey, okay, what's been going on? And I want us to imagine for a few minutes and really put feeling. You can close your eyes and actually visualize this. Imagine a scenario where you're being interviewed and you are authentically and honestly saying you are grateful for that mountain that got placed in front of you. You are grateful for it. So just take some breaths and actually see if you can conjure a scenario in which you can imagine saying that. Let's not rush this. Let's like really give it a minute. Imagine now, here's the brain science based question. What would have to be true? What would have to be true for you to be absolutely grateful for that mountain? Okay, so I want you to just write down, or if you're driving, like think through what comes to you. What would have to be true for you to actually feel grateful for that challenge, that mountain that seemed like it was gonna, kick your butt? So let's just tune into that together. What would need to be true? And those of you that are here live, I'd love to hear in the chat if an answer came to you. For me, I'll just be transparent for this particular situation that arose over the last few days. For me to authentically say, actually, I'm already there because I'm pretty fired up about like that it is going to be the even better. That is going to actually be the thing getting me further and faster to where I want to be with my impact and my contribution in the world and my legacy and success and all the things. So, but for that to be true for me, then I would have created a scenario in which the results are even better than they would have been if the original option had worked out. So that means for you financially, it will be better. In terms of impact, positive impact on the people I'm here to serve is greater. So more financial abundance, more positive impact on people I'm here to serve, more like visibility and good in the world, more opportunities in terms of co-creating with people that I love and feel aligned with. That's what would need to be true. And then do we see what happens in this practice? First, we envision a scenario in which we actually are grateful that we were called to climb this mountain. Number two, step two, is we say what would have to be true. That's a brain science based question. It's going to activate certain regions of your brain in a special way. Say what would have to be true for me to actually believe that and feel it. And in my case, it was the impact, the legacy, the opportunities, and the finances are even better than they would have been in the initial scenario. And then step three is you look at that and say, well, then what would need to happen next? Like what would I need to do next in order for all those things to be better than they would have been in the original, and then feel truly grateful that it didn't go the way I thought. So for me, it looks like, okay, well, what steps can I take today in the next 24 hours? Because in download, we don't wait, we don't sit on our downloads, we don't just defer. We actually like tune in here and we say, okay, so for me, it looks like, well, if I want the impact, the opportunities, and the finances to be even better than they would have been had the original plan worked, then what are the three next things I would do to create that reality within my control, within my power, right? So I want you to take a minute and journal on that. Or if you're driving, think on that, right? What would be the three next things that would make the results of this experience even better than they would have been if you didn't have to climb the mountain? Yeah, so Deb is saying the path is even easier than she imagined. Suddenly things just are coming to her. Suddenly opportunities are landing in your lap. Suddenly people are clamoring, to Deb, we need you here, and oh, we want to pay you more, and it's like it happens even faster, right? So tune into that for a minute. What would be the three next actions that would make your results such that you are grateful that you got to climb the mountain? Not had to, got to. Okay, if you have any thoughts that you do want to share with us here, please do, or share with me. All right. Now, why is this brain science based? What are we actually doing? Well, what happens is that we are activating a couple different systems in the brain when we do this three-step process. The first is we are by anchoring future gratitude. It's called segment intending, future pacing, future pulling. There's lots of words for it, right? But what happens is that we are activating certain centers in the brain when we imagine a scenario where we're actually happy that things worked out this way. It's going to start priming your subconscious mind to be thinking of ideas that make that true. Your reticular activating system in the brain is going to go race out and fetch evidence and opportunities that affirm the new story that you're telling, which is, I'm actually grateful I got to climb that mountain. I'm actually grateful that mountain got me in 1 year where I would have had to take 10 years. That mountain actually connected me to the person I thought was 10 steps around. That mountain 10x'd me when otherwise I was going to 2x. Right? So it starts working in the reticular activating system in the brain. It starts working in the hippocampus. It starts working in the prefrontal. Well, we'll get in more prefrontal cortex, a little bit prefrontal cortex. It works on the emotional centers of the brain. So we're getting a whole brain experience. At least 4 different brain centers are activated when we imagine that future gratitude. We imagine a scenario. Okay. Then in step 2, when we say, well, what would actually have to be true for me to honestly feel good? Then we're activating more prefrontal cortex. We're activating still the hippocampus. We're activating a number of different centers in the brain. The RAS, reticular activating system, is still working for us because we are asking ourselves like, well, what would need to be true there, right? We're painting the vision. And our brain starts to, because of neuroplasticity, it starts to build the neural pathways for that to happen. And then in part 3, we're really getting into, now we're activating the prefrontal cortex in a big way. And we're saying, oh, okay, cool. Now what would I need to do? What are the next 3 things that would get me to that place? So for me, it's like not just, okay, I'd reach out to people for those opportunities and I'd put together a new financial plan that, builds faster and, whatever, the impact goals. I actually get to say, who is the specific person for what specific opportunity? I want to have 3 specific actions to take between now and bedtime. I sound like I'm like with little kids now. Bedtime. That's how I think of it to myself. It's bedtime. Yay. All right. So what are the 3 specific things? All right. So we're getting a whole brain buy-in, conscious, subconscious mind, multiple parts, right and left hemisphere of the brain. And what I want us to do is not download those 3 steps from a stressed pressure place that's going to go into beta waves in our brain, left brain. I want us to breathe. Okay. And I'm going to do a breath with you here just to activate this. This is going to help our bodies and our brains. And we're going to breathe and actually download. We're not going to brainstorm and think of the answer. We're going to download the 3 steps that we're going to take today. We're going to do it together right now in real time. Okay. So what does that mean? What's the difference between thinking about it and brainstorming? What are the 3 steps we're going to take to make that better case scenario? We're going to download them. Downloading is not coming from beta waves in the brain. It's not coming from rational, logical thinking. It's relaxing enough, getting into alpha, theta, and gamma waves so that we can access downloads from our imaginal right brain, from the universe, from source, from God, wherever you get your downloads from. We're going to access that. Okay. So we're not going to go on a download walk because we're on Substack and I'm sitting at the computer, but we're going to do a download breath. All right. So I want you to think about that best case scenario, the something even better that is going to happen for you by climbing that mountain that feels like the kick in the butt, the challenge. Okay. I want you to think about that vision you have of it working out even better than it would have if you didn't have to climb the mountain. Okay. And I want you to come up with like one thing that represents it working out really well. If it's a certain amount of money, you're going to choose that. If it's a opportunity that happens, a partnership that happens, I want you to visualize that. If you are, if it's a something is resolved that's like some of you are dealing with legal things or financial situations, or you're waiting to get accepted or selected for something. I know South by Southwest just opened up their panel pickers, so like pick the thing that's the you at the top of that mountain. And then what we're going to do is 5 breaths. You're going to breathe it in on the inhale and you're going to breathe it out on the exhale. So if it's a certain amount of money, you'd say, I'm breathing in $100,000 and I'm breathing out $100,000. I'm breathing in this strategic partnership with this specific person or company. And you're breathing out that specific partnership with that person or company. If you're breathing in, like this situation is resolved, you're going to picture the email that says, it's done. You did it. Breathe it in and breathe it out. Okay, 5 times. You're going to breathe in that triumph and you're going to breathe out that triumph. Okay, let's do it together. 5 breaths. Okay. What you breathe, you become. And there's a neurosurgeon, which I'll be meeting with soon, who has actually linked the breath work to spontaneous healings of the body that people and the brain that were not supposed to happen because of using breath intentionally. She's doing incredible peer-reviewed research. I cannot wait to have her on the show. I'm not saying her name yet because we have to confirm everything with her team, but she's absolutely incredible and I'm so excited to have her on a future episode of The Download so she can talk about this link between the breath and the body and the physical brain, right? In downloading, we're tapping into our imaginal mind, our creative mind, the divine mind, the universe itself, source itself. Okay. So I'd love to hear those of you that are on live with us. If you felt anything, maybe you calmed down a little more. You may not get a download of your 3 action steps right when you do 5 breaths. But my experience is that doing that download breath opens the door, opens the channel. And then whether it's as you walk down your stairs or as you take a shower or you're taking your dog out to the yard, suddenly it's going to drop in. Call this person, apply here, send that email. The download will come. It will come if you do this breath, if you do the download walk, if you do the things that I teach here in the download and in the book, the downloads will come and you will get guided every step of the way. And you will do the thing you think you cannot do and you will triumph. Yes, I love that, Deb. I love that you felt something there. Now, we were going to have Regan Archibald on from Ageless Future today, and it may be that, something came up with them, but we will have Regan on, if not today, for a future conversation so that we can talk very in depth and nerd out on some incredible frontier of human wellness and longevity. So I can't wait for you to meet Regan, and we will be having Ageless Future and their incredible team. They're going to be at our download lounges coming up in the fall. So some of you have been asking, DMing about, when the tour dates are for the download book tour. So I'm going to share those again here now. And if you want we'll post with the show notes and everything. If you want links to join us at any of these tour events, then we're opening up registration for all the events this week this week. And then New York City has been open already. We opened that one up early because that's a full 2.5 days of awesomeness. So what we have coming up for Download Book Tour, yes, I'm going to grab the link for New York City right now and put it in the chat. It's going to be absolutely incredible. So New York City is October 6th and 7th. We have a little welcome gathering on the 5th if you can come in the night before. Full days on the 6th and the 7th, and we'll be doing the official launch of the Download book in New York City, but also this incredible event that we've run for over 10 years, Women Starting Movements. Everyone is welcome. We're going to be doing the frontier of thought leadership, your book, your business, your brand. We're going to be doing this brain training to get true, creative, unique thoughts that differentiate us from AI and from all the other, stuff that's going on in the world to really empower you to build and scale the movement that you're here to lead. And so I'm really excited to be with so many of you. We have I think the room can fit 70 and we have 20 spots left. So let me grab the link for that right now so that anyone who wants to join us there can easily do so. And then we are going to be in the next event will be Chicago on October 15th. and we'll be partnering with Chief in Chicago. So I know, Deb, you work with Chief. So that's going to be great on October 15th and October 20th in Austin, Texas. October 25th in Los Angeles with Michael Beckwith is hosting us at the Agape Center, which is going to be really exciting. And then we will be in Washington, D.C. on November 5th at the National Press Club. And we're going to have some incredible people from policy and government and the media. And it's going to be an amazing, amazing download event there. And then we've got a TEDx talk in just outside of Charlotte, North Carolina, a full 3-day TEDx event that's going on November 19, 20, and 21. So some really, really, really super exciting things coming up. And I'm excited to see any of you out on the tour with us that want to come to these events. And if you want to even come early, and we're partnering with Called to Lead in Boca Raton, Florida on October 1st, and you can still get tickets to that event. So all kinds of goodness. That is options of cities depending on where you live. Here is the New York City link. And if anyone wants to join today, because you're part of our Substack family, you can use the code MOVEMENT, and that will bring you down much lower in the ticket rate for that event. So please do sign up. We had 20 seats left as of this morning, and those events have sold out every year. So definitely get that now if you can join us in New York. And then if you want the links for any of the other events between Boca Raton, Chicago, Austin, LA, DC, and North Carolina, just put a note here in the chat and we'll be sure to send those out to you, because those other events are just getting ready to open up registration. All right, but New York City is open, and that will likely be sold out in the next couple weeks. So very, very excited to be with you all there. Now, we did say we're talking about the body today, and we will have Ageless Future coming in, and they are going to be at the download. So when we do these events, it's not like a bookstore event where I'm doing a reading. I'm not going to do that. We are going to be having total immersion experiences. You're going to be able to experience the incredible technologies like peptides and stem cells from, Ageless Future and Lumavitae, these hydrogen water bottles that they've infused like this amazing, even beyond reverse osmosis in the water. We're going to be having, incredible, you're going to be able to try all these things. We're going to have the EEG machines to see what's happening in your brain. We're going to have Ageless Future is actually going to do the what's your real age, like your biological age, but what's your health age? And they're going to be able to do the screenings for those. We're going to have Vital Neuro there with the neurofeedback headsets that they're using in the U.S. military and with elite athletes. We're going to have the Cove chair, which is like vibroacoustics, which a lot of doctors are saying. We'll have to see what you think, Dr. Morella, but really incredible for regulating nervous system, reversing the signs of dementia and Alzheimer's, getting our brains in peak performance. So that's super exciting. And then we're going to have Chandani Patel Thompson is going to be there with her neuroscience-based journals. So using writing as a way to get more downloads. We're going to have Carol Look, who's a pioneer in emotional freedom technique tapping. Kate St. Clair is going to be in some of our tour events teaching the technology of intuition, really the science of intuition. Julie Wright Halbert, who is doing incredible work in the conscious living and dying space. So if you've lost someone recently, or if you're facing a really grave health challenge, Julie is doing absolutely phenomenal cutting edge work. She's been partnering with hospice and all kinds of, amazing. She's in Bali right now, was just in Japan. So you're going to be Mo Fall from Soul Code will be, leading a couple of our meditations in the download lounges. So this is going to be a true immersion. And there's many other incredible people that you're going to get to meet. So join us, get your tickets for New York. We'll send out the tickets for any of you that asked for LA or other cities, so that you can join us and experience this. Not just talk about it, but be in the room and leave with your brain activated for success, for wealth, for clarity, for absolute focus and alignment. To succeed in your goals. So really excited for all of that. And I'm just going to do one final check to make sure that Regan didn't send something to say that He was coming on late. Okay, so we'll reschedule so that we can talk more and geek out about peptides and stem cells and finding out your real age versus your biological age. I'm really excited to see you all live in the room on the tour, and I'm so happy you joined us today. And please use this 3-part technique. And before we go, since I'm a coach, I can't help it. What is one action? You're invited to think of 3, one action between now and the end of the day that you are going to take that make sure that this challenge that's in front of you, this mountain that you have to climb, worked for you and got you somewhere even better than it would have if you didn't have to climb it. What's one thing you will do by the end of today? And I know mine. Mine is there's a thought leader that I absolutely want to partner with. And I've done inroads to relationship build, and I am going to send a personal follow-up note to this individual and really pour into them and find out how I can be of service to them and find out, I'm gonna just take the next step in that strategic partnership. It's been a lifelong dream to partner with this person. So that's the one I'm gonna do, okay? If you wanna put yours in the chat, do it so I can celebrate you. And then we're going to let ourselves get on our way so that we can spend the rest of the day in this incredible, focused, aligned energy. All right. Thanks everyone for joining us, and we'll see you next time on The Download.